For now, let's just settle back and enjoy the second of our live commentary matches on Sports Sound. It is live from Easter Road, Hibernian against Dundee in the company of Paul Mitchell and Rory Loy.
Thanks, Richard. Good afternoon, everybody. Sunshine and shade on Leith this afternoon. It's warm in the sunshine, a little bit chillier where we're located at the back of the main stand. Both teams are out. Just going through the handshakes. Dundee have broken across to right-hand side. They're in the dark blue, white shorts and the dark blue socks. Hibs in their traditional home colours, the green jerseys with the white sleeves. White shorts and white socks this afternoon to avoid the clash with Dundee. Both these teams unchanged from their last victories. Hibs impressive against Rangers. Dundee back to winning ways against St Mirren. The visitors will have Trevor Carson in goal. Will be the back four of Jordan McGee, Joe Shaughnessy, Clark Robertson and Zaid Larkesh. Josh Mulligan, Mo Silla and Finlay Robertson, the midfield three. And Olu Adiwumne, Simon Murray and Scott Tiffany. The front three have got 32 goals between them this season for Dundee. For Hibs, unchanged for the third straight game, Jordan Smith in goal. What a difference he's made to Hibs back there. Lee Miller, Rocky Bushiri, Jack Ardale are the back three. Chris Cadden, Dylan Levitt, Nicola Triantis, who's having such a good season, and Jordan Abita, the midfield quartet. And Junior Hoylett will support Martin Boyle, Majkola Kuhanovic. Our referee is Chris Graham. He's assisted by Graham Stewart and Graham McNally. Peter Stewart, no relation to Graham Stewart, different spellings of the surname, is the fourth official. And it's Peter Stewart who stands right down below us on the halfway line, communicating to the referee to let him know that we're ready to get underway. The final match of this weekend and of this Scottish Premiership campaign before the split. This one will not affect the finishing positions of the split. That is set, but Hibs are looking for points towards Europe and Dundee are looking for points to move them away from that playoff place, and potentially of course St Johnstone trying to catch them as well. Hibs moving forward. Nicky Cadden kind of mishits it, plays it down the side, picked up by Robertson. Robertson going back towards his own corner flag, hooks the ball out of play, didn't really have an out ball. Larkesh not in a great position to take it, so Hibs will have a throw level with the penalty box down to our right hand side to be taken by Lewis Miller. Miller takes it, there is nobody out there marking them. Hibs a little bit slow to take advantage of that. Miller gets a low ball into the middle, Hoylett gets the touch, laid back chance. Kuhanovic never really got his feet settled, but he did well to get his shot away, sent it wide. 57 seconds gone. Rory Loy.
Yes indeed, Tony Dockett is down there, his fingers to his temples, screaming at Scott Tiffany, who switched off from the throw, and he was trying to organise other people and completely forgot to do his own job, which allowed the cross to come in. And it was a good touch from Hoylett, actually, laid back and ended up going over the bar. But both teams playing a similar shape, but it's Hibs who have started the better.
So Trevor Carson making his first appearance of the season against Hibs, missed the 2-2 and the 4-1 victory. He wasn't first choice at the time, that was McCracken. Now ball up by the halfway line. Mo Silla picks up, lost out initially to Hoylett, but recovered by Mulligan just inside Sir Happen. He's given the ball away. Kuhanovic has it, left hand side, gets it onto Hoylett. Hoylett immediately head down, starts going towards the edge of the box, plays it out wide. Opportunity for Abita to get the ball in the middle. It'll break all the way through to Cadden. Cadden brings it down in the area. Cadden tries to work the 1-2 and eventually the ball's knocked to. He's a little free kick, just a little bit too heavy on that occasion. Triantis, free kick to Dundee. The alarm bells not just ringing, they're clanging.
Yeah, they're moving the ball really well, Hibs, and really quickly, and they're switching it from side to side, and Dundee are struggling to recover. Finn Robertson a couple of times has got caught out positionally, so Tony Dockett has already spoken about leaning on the experience of Clark Robertson, of Joe Shaughnessy and Jordan McGee back there, so they'll need to try and get organising sooner rather than later.
Bushiri wins the head of the ball, bounces down onto Jack Ardale. Ardale out wide, left hand side. Jordan Obita 0-0. 2.5 minutes gone. Slides the ball down the side. There's no way through on that occasion. Kuhanovic, and he has to chase it down as the ball comes back onto Trevor Carson. Carson sends it long. Triantis wins the header. Boyd tries to get in behind Clark Robertson. Robertson wins the header, but he sends it wide and out of play. Arkesh couldn't gather, and it's going to be a throw into Hibs. Cadden's already got the ball in hand. He throws it into Miller. Miller gets it forward onto Triantis. Dylan Levitt waiting in the midfield. Not had a touch so far. Here's Rocky Bushiri. Bushiri pointing the way forward, wanted to run at Kaharovic, comes back out onto this right-hand side, onto Lewis Miller. Miller plays it forward. Kaharovic tries to link with Boyle. Dundee again clear. And Dundee again have to concede a throw to Hibs.
Yeah, Kukarovic there, he's got to recognise that he needs to take a touch. He should be given that information, Lewis Miller, as he kind of plays one round the corner into his feet. But as a striker, it's really important. Do you take one touch and try and get the pass off quickly, or do you need to take two? And at times when I watch Kukarovic, his hold-up play can be better. So, David Gray will be keen for him to hold the ball up, because it's vital when you've got so much pace around about you that you keep a hold of the ball.
Ardale finds the ball forward onto Hoylett. Hoylett challenged by Mulligan. The pass does make its way out wide onto Obita, who pulls the ball back onto Jack Ardale. Ardale wears 15. Brings the ball out onto this near side. Still inside his own half. Lewis Miller. Miller onto Chris Cadden. Cadden plays it through. Kaharovic that time doing what Rory said. Take the touch. Know where it is. Plays the ball back to Triantis. Triantis, lovely long ball forward. It's kept in by Obita. Pulled back onto Hoylett. Hoylett inside the area. Driving it. Shaughnessy steps back inside. Got the shot away. I think that took a deflection. It did. It's going to be a corner kick. But a great ball that was. And Obita never gave up on it.
Yeah, he didn't. And all the time doing this job, doing it 4 years now, Paul. I've been to Easter Road many times. I've never felt so much optimism, and just the stadium's nearly full. Hibs going about their business really well, playing some really nice stuff, and it's a credit to David Gray that he's got them in this place.
Expectation has not always been a feeling round Easter Road.
No.
Opportunity for the first corner for Hibs. Obita's come out to the right hand side to take it. Obita flicks it into the middle. It's headed up and over his own crossbar by Mo Silly. He was under real pressure. Hibs will have another corner. It'll be from the left hand side, which Martin Boyle will go out to take. These are big moments for Dundee. They're under severe pressure.
They need to sort themselves out, because Hibs are playing well. The organisation is Tony Docherty's one of his big pluses.
Yeah.
You'd expect him and his team to be better organised than they have been in the opening spell in this game, because when the corners start to flow in, Hibs are a big team. They will eventually get ahead on it, and it's just whether it ends up in the net or not. But Dundee need to get a grip of the game.
Mark Robertson and Rocky Bushiri receive the mandatory warning, and they continue to ignore it and push and pull each other as Boyle plays the ball in. Simon Murray heads it up towards the edge of the area. Larkesh got the next touch, but again the ball runs out of play on this right hand side, and Hibs will have a throw. Cadden will leave it for Lewis Miller. Miller drives the ball on the jersey, and he said to Chris Cadden, nah, you take it. Bounces the ball down to him. Cadden has a look ahead, throws the ball in. Triantis gathers under pressure from Robertson, plays it on the inside onto Dylan Levitt. Levitt's first touch, but he loses out to Simon Murray. He gets the second touch, hooks the ball forward though, and Dundee might gather here. They do so. Robertson will play it round the corner looking for Tiffany. It's too heavy. Rocky Bushiri is going to try and just sweep that ball out of play. He does so. He'll earn his side. The goal kick, and again Hibs made that look easy.
Yeah, they did. First time Dundee have managed to nick the ball. Dylan Levitt just taking one too many touches in the middle of the pitch. Scott Tiffany took one look at Rocky Bushiri guiding that ball out of play and thought, nah, it's a battle I'm never going to win.
Yeah, sometimes you get the odd bounce, but you thought, no, won't bother. Here's a beat over the halfway line for Hibs. Plays it out wide. Kaharovic against Shaughnessy. Low ball into the box. Chance. Hoylett met it. Just couldn't get it cleanly. And I tell you what, you've got to give all the credit to Mo Silla to come back. He was almost in his shadow. Made it difficult for Hoylett.
He did, and I don't know if he misjudged the pace of the ball, Hoylett, because I thought he was there. I thought he could. It's not like he was stretching to get there. It just ended up, the ball got away from him. It was a really good run from Hoylett. Good play as well by Kukarevic down that left-hand side. Hibs very impressive so far.
Forward it goes by Hibs again, up towards the edge of the box, touched on by Robertson. Silla hooks it up to the halfway line. Ardale waits, plays it on the volley. Robertson returns it on the volley. Bushiri, he gets his own volley forward, and eventually Robertson gets the head flick on. So too does Silla. Brought down on the chest by Triantis. Lovely piece of play.
Didn't touch the ground for about 2 minutes there.
No, just keep it in there, lads. Here comes Hoylett, 0-0. But Hibs are putting at the moment. Hoylett touches the ball off, looking for Boyle. Silla with a challenge, slow to get up the Frenchman, but he's played it wide. On to Obita. Obita back on the inside, just a few yards inside his own half for Dylan Levitt, who is the sitter for Hibs this afternoon. Here's Ardale. Ardale looks up, pings the ball out to the right-hand side. Larkesh wins it, tries to hit it on towards Tiffany, but it's up towards the halfway line, and Hibs gather again. Hibs fans making a noise. They're enjoying this wonderful unbeaten run and looking to emulate the team of 1948, which included the very early part of the famous five, and going 17 games without defeat in the league. 16 so far, 111 drawn 5. Here's a beater moving forward up to the edge of the box, goes in, cross, looks a little bit heavy, but it will come out, and Cadden will go there. Miller screaming for the ball, he's in behind him, does come back to him, takes a touch on the right foot, has a little look, shuffles it inside onto Junior Hoylett. Hoylett tried to play it back to Cadden, runs through all the way to the goalkeeper. Trevor Carson is far from impressed from what he's seeing in front of him.
Yeah, it's a matter of time before Hibs score, because it's taken 2 passes for either Obita or Cadden. If the ball starts with Cadden, it inevitably ends up over an Obita within 2 passes, and he's just got the freedom of that side to run down, and it's the same with Cadden on this side. So Dundee really need to get their act together, because I do feel at this rate it's a matter of time before Hibs hit the net.
Both these teams have scored 50 goals in the Scottish Premiership this season. As a foul throw is given against Zaid Larkesh. Don't see them given too often, but his feet clearly off the ground, and it's going to be a throw-in, and Lewis Miller being told you're going to come up to the halfway line to take it. Normally players are trying to steal yards. He was trying to give away about 30. Ball gets played forward. Clark Robertson wins the header, drop down onto Larkesh. Larkesh drops it inside, looking for Silla, but it's all very tight. He has to play the ball back. Forward it goes from Robertson. Triantis goes in there, almost gets the better of Murray. Simon Murray, not a sniff so far, Simon Murray, 9.5 minutes gone.
No, he hasn't, and they need to use these situations, Dundee, with a throw in Hibs half, not too deep into Hibs half, just over the halfway line, but they need to use this to try and kill Hibs' momentum, but they just give it straight back.
Forward to Tiffany, but Hibs gather and send the ball away. Clark Robertson takes a touch, plays it out wide over the halfway line. Larkesh, Triantis can't get there. That allows Tiffany to take a touch, move up towards the edge of the area. A little ball inside, but Triantis recovered well. Hoylett then will pass it on to Cadden. Kujanovic back onto Hoylett. Hibs are moving quickly. Here's Boyle midway inside his opponent's half, driving towards the edge of the box, whips it into the middle. There wasn't a soul inside the box. Then he got his head up there. Martin Boyle, Obita on the other side, loses out. Good sliding play from Jordan McGee, and Dundee will get the chance to bring the ball away. Mulligan on the inside. You can see Hibs' intent all day long though, Rory.
Yeah, it was a wonderful move, that, I have to say. I totally agree with you as well, Paul. Quite often you'll hear, oh, that's a great ball into a good area, but he's got plenty of time to look up, as you say, and recognise that there's nobody in the box there, because the move had started so deep that everyone was still back in back the pitch. So, you know, really good play, but Martin Boyle, poor decision at the end of it.
Awaiting the first goal, 10.5 minutes gone. Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Forward it goes from Dundee, on to Simon Murray. 15 on his back, plays a lovely ball through almost there. Anyway, he would have been offside, but you could see what Murray was trying to do. 15 Scottish Premiership goals this season for the number 15. Hibs didn't take it from the right place, didn't really matter too much.
It was Simon Murray that was offside. I think that was the issue. He was off initially. I thought he was. He came from the wrong side of Rocky Bushiri, but by the time the ball arrived, he was in front of him. I don't really see the need for the referee to have brought it back, though, to retake the free kick.
It wasn't really any good cause, but he's the man in charge. Here's Cadden. Cadden over the halfway line, on to Bushiri. Bushiri gives the ball away to Larkesh. Larkesh on the inside. Scott Tiffany brings it under control, under pressure, under duress from Cadden. Steps away from him, looks up, wants McGee to make a run out wide, and he was trying to pass it into that direction. Mulligan had stayed short, the ball went past him. Hibs now gather, played long on the angle. Boyle will chase it into the box, but the man in all light blue will come and gather. That's Trevor Carson, the goalkeeper. 11.5 gone, 0-0. Here's Larkesh inside his own half, takes a touch, lays the ball back onto only Robertson. Robertson on the inside to Clark Robertson. I know Tony Docherty delighted to have a more settled, more experienced back four. Joe Shopness has made such a difference. The man wearing the captain's armband, 6th straight start for him. Has a little look ahead outside his area, plays it out wide. Gets it on to Jordan McGee. McGee with the yellow boots, tries to launch it over the head of Ardale. Can't do so. Ardale clips it forward. Kanovic gets the touch. Levitt goes in there, but Silla might pick up. Silla, strong ball, just bouncing off him a couple of times that he held on to it, and then fouled by Triantis. I think it was a series of fouls rather than just that one in the end.
Yeah, it was. You know, Dundee do get the foul in the end, but I know Simon Murray will run all day and he'll close the Hibs defence down, but they look to be a little bit more patient and creative with their play. A lot of long balls so far, but they have been under pressure.
Hibs with the advantage in terms of the possession and efforts towards goal, and it remains goalless. And Dundee with the best chance to settle in here. Robertson There's the opportunity, hearing something from his goalkeeper. Robertson plays it down the side, looking for Simon Murray. He's inside his man. Lovely touch, gets the shot away. Good save from the goalkeeper. He slid in right on the outside, just got beyond Cadden, and Smith had to be alert and was.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Very simple, but very effective. Played down the side. Hibs don't react well to it, and as soon as you get the other side of your defender in that position, he can't touch you, because it's a penalty all day long if you go down after contact there. Simon Murray maybe takes an extra touch more than he needs. Does get the shot on target, but a decent enough save in the end.
Well, Simon Murray, 21 goals for the season, 15 in the league. Looking to add and tie up with Dozen Maida, who scored yesterday. He's on 16 for the Scottish Premiership. Top goal scorer. Tiffany tries to get through, can't do so. Has to turn, lays the ball back onto Robertson. Robertson inside onto Silla. Silla onto Robertson. Robertson looks to flick the ball up. Finlay Robertson tries to play it through. Rocky Bushiri is there, gets the touch, knocks it behind. I'm not quite sure what Rocky Bushiri was claiming for, because he clearly got the touch. It's a corner.
Simon Murray wants a penalty because he feels that Rocky Bushiri clipped him, but it's never a penalty in a winter Sundays, in my opinion. Ball's been won by Bushiri, and the ball's went out, and he's caught Simon Murray after it, but it's not a penalty.
Yeah, there is not a chance in the world. The referee is saying hold on a second. I tell you what, there's no chance. That has to be check over. It is. I mean, that was bizarre. And the ball was clearly out for a corner. Dundee, though, have a corner. They whip it in. Goalkeeper backpedaling, has to go to his far post, hook the ball away with his left hand, and McGee will allow the ball to run out of play for a throw. Awkward one for the keeper.
It was. He did well in the end. He actually, from our vantage point, he's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, is he? But he's done very, very well in recent weeks and since he's come into the team, and it's been a foundation to build from Hibs' point of view. But Simon Murray, he'll run all day, and he'll claim for anything, as we've seen there, Paul.
Yeah. He's the most tactical 6'1" goalkeeper that I've seen. There's not a chance he's 6'1" as the ball comes in. And out it comes all the way onto Mulligan. Mulligan plays it back to Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy around the corner to Mulligan. Mulligan plays the ball in, and Hibs get the ball clear. Johanovic at the edge of his area tries to work the 1-2 to get the ball away with Ardale. Does so, he's under pressure, but he's still going. Excellent play trying to find Boyle. Silla just sat there and read it. Plays it up to Jordan McGee. McGee lays the ball back to the halfway line. Back inside to Silla as well. Silla being told you've got to transfer it out. And it is dug out onto this near side. Clark Robertson is there. Arkesh will gather. Move over the halfway line. Still going. It's good play by Finlay Robertson to open things up. Tiffany under pressure from Chris Cadden. His brother is back and available. He's on the bench. Is Nicky Cadden. Coming back after injury. Dundee have it on the halfway line. Started to come into the game a little bit more, Dundee.
Well, I actually think they started with a 3 at the back. The way they lined up to begin with Jordan McGee alongside Shaughnessy and Robertson, but the game's developing. It looks more like a back 4, and that's helped certainly with more players in the middle of the pitch.
Dundee moving forward. Larkesh outside the box. Left-hand side, plays the ball in. It wasn't an easy one for Mulligan to take, and the ball laid back onto Silla. Silla now plays it out wide. Again, outside, left-hand side. Simon Murray tries to curl the ball in, headed away easily by Jack Ardale. Dylan Levitt will chase after it. He'll be second to it. Finlay Robertson is there, plays it inside onto Mo Silla. Silla tries to move away from Hoylett. Got caught, and that just knocked him off balance. Free kick to Dundee. Shaughnessy will come forward and look to deliver. Hibs have won the last 2 Scottish Premiership matches without conceding. The last won 3 in a row without losing a goal back in 2018 when they blanked Dundee, Simmer and Hamilton. So looking to find a way to get past Dundee today. But the Hibs will face this free kick. Finlay Robertson, Scott Tiffany standing next to him. Tiffany breaks off to the right hand side. Robertson hooks it up far side of box. There's jersey pulling going on between both Miller and Robertson. They both turn and complain to the referee, and probably just as well that they were both holding.
Yeah, they were both at it. Very difficult for the referee to make a call one way or the other, to be totally honest with you. But no harm, no foul, because there was no opportunities created in the end.
Hibs launch it long, goes out of play. Mo Silla allows it to run out of play. And Dundee just slowly getting themselves back together here after a really quick opening from a Hibernian side. Well, what a run they're on. 38 points on their unbeaten run. In the last 8 games alone, the form team of the Scottish Premiership, the only side to take 20 points or more from the last 8 Scottish Premiership matches, but it remains 0-0. Dundee throw the ball in, looking for Murray, but it's Ardale who steps in ahead of him on that far side, midway inside the Dundee half to head the ball out of play earlier on today. Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2. Aberdeen 2 up at half-time against 10 men. It didn't end well for them. Ball gets played forward and dropped down. Clark Robertson lays the ball off short. Here's the opportunity to get things moving from Robertson. Back to Larkesh. Larkesh plays it forward. Tiffany. The flag has stayed down. He's trying to get away from Cadden. He's up at the edge of the box. He'll gather just outside. He's now driving in at Cadden. Turns going to try and curl that one, and Cadden made the block. And it breaks to Junior Hoylett at the edge of the area. Hoylett immediately plays it forward, but it's intercepted by Joe Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy will drop it down to McGee. McGee will send it outside the box, right hand side. Waiting for it is Josh Mulligan. Mulligan thinking of driving Ardale. He does so. Ardale steps his foot in front. The ball deflected. Ball goes behind, and Dundee have come into this one.
Yeah, they have. They really have. Hibs started so well. Dundee were all over the shop, but not conceding in that period certainly has helped. And a few passes in the middle of the pitch and a slight tweak in shape has just helped Dundee get a foothold in the game.
They beat St Mirren last week by 2-0. They haven't won back-to-back Scottish Premiership matches this season, Dundee. One of the reasons why they're in trouble. The sun is out again at Easter Road as Dundee, as players gather just to the left-hand side of the penalty spot. It will be an outswinger. Scott Tiffany is the only man inside the 6-yard box for Dundee. Adiwumi does the same. Hibs only marking as the ball comes away. Triantis gets that header away. Dundee trying to get in there through Larkesh, but Hibs are going to break. It's 2-on-1. Kuhanovic plays it out wide to Hoylett. Hoylett takes a touch, plays it back to Kuhanovic. Kuhanovic takes the touch, still trying to close him down. It's the post. Got the shot away brilliantly. Carson was beaten, but it rattled the frame and came back out. Here's Junior Hoylett outside the box. Hoylett in. Here's Dylan Levitt. Levitt with a chance, just wide. Great play from Hibs. Great counter-attacking football. And somehow Dundee survive.
Yeah, he's got to score, in my opinion. If you're 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, you've got to show a little bit more composure and tuck it in the inside of the post. That may seem harsh, but that's a huge opportunity in the match. Really well worked. The 1-2 with Junior Hoylett, who makes a good decision. He times his pass well. He plays Kukarevic in goal, and he's got his hands on his knees at the moment. He'll be replaying that because he's got to score there.
Glorious chance. You felt the expectation in the stadium rise, but it wasn't to be. Just one goal in his last 8 for the Ukrainian, and he almost had Hibs ahead.
He's played well though. He's been involved in the game. A lot of good stuff. He had that poor touch early doors, but ever since then he's been really good.
Hibs opening up again on that far side. Jordan Abita, good deputy for Nicky Cadden. Little overstep into the area he goes. Lashes the ball into the crowd. Just getting a little bit too ambitious on there. Certainly plenty up in support. And one thing I'd note, and it probably, Rory, you'll notice if a team's playing well and playing with confidence, the number of players willing to get into the area to support.
Well, that's the thing. Obita knows that Cadden's now back. Now, Obita deserves to be playing because ever since Cadden's been out, he's been phenomenal. He's been very good, and that's the joy that Dave Gray's got. But that's, as a player on the pitch, you don't want to get in. No one wants to get injured, but a slight knock or whatever else, you don't want to bring yourself off the pitch because you know that the person waiting in the wings is going to step in and make a difference. You don't want to get suspended. You don't want to give up that jersey for any reason whatsoever. So you need to be on top of your game all the time if you want to stay in the team. Because if you look at their bench, Dwight Gale, Josh Campbell, Mariah Welsh, Bowie, Cadden, O'Hora, it's a pretty strong bench.
Yeah, certainly the Hibs squad has gotten very competitive. There's been some players like Dylan Levitt, Jack Ardale, who are not really involved in the first sort of third of the season and have found themselves in and are stuck. The ball comes out from Dundee, sent long. Goalkeeper has it. Triantis played to him. Back onto Rocky Bushiri inside his box. Onto Dylan Levitt. Levitt clips it out wide. Opportunity for Ardale to drive it forward. Kuhanovic tried a little back heel into Hoylett.
He needs to take that touch again there, Paul. He has to make that decision to take the touch. Somebody breathing down his neck. Yes, you can ask your teammate to tell you he's there. You've got to recognise it.
Yeah, the back heel went nowhere. Dundee coming more into the game. 0-0 so far. BBC Radio Scotland, Sunday afternoon, as Boyle is played through inside the box, left hand side up against Shaughnessy. He'll step inside trying to find the space. Shaughnessy with a block and a good hook away from Mo Silla. Mo Silla does the dirty side of the game. He gets into position, he helps sweep things up, and he was there again. Now Dundee, Mulligan on to Tiffany. Tiffany being pursued by Triantis, and by pursued I mean fouled. Free kick to Dundee.
Yeah, Simon Murray was holding his run. Tiffany doesn't get his head up. He was under pressure, but there's a real opportunity there had he managed to lift his head and play him through.
Ball gets played back to Joe Shaughnessy. Just a
really good defending, by the way, that one-on-one with Martin Boyle. Yeah.
Read it well, knew what Boyle wanted to do. Martin Boyle, having scored in the last 4 Scottish Premiership matches, leading to become the first Hibs player to score in 5 in a row since Christian Doidge did it back in 2019.
Watched him score a not dissimilar goal to Kukarevic's chance in this game last week at Ibrox, and he just had no doubt when he ran through on goal that he was going to find the back of the net.
Do you find there are some players that excel in that, and there's some players that often think too much if they got too much time in the one-on-one?
Absolutely, yeah. You get more natural finishers and you get more instinctive finishers. The biggest one you could think of instinctive-wise is probably at this moment in time in the league is Dessers. For a spell it was Dyson Maeda, but Maeda's got everything. Shows that coolness and composure. But yeah, I would fancy Boyle to score in that situation over Kukarevic.
Ball gets bounced down onto Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy sends it forward. Jack Iredale brings it down on the chest, clips it out wide onto Jordan Obita. Obita being pursued by Finlay Robertson, but it'll come out wide, and it's going to be taken in there by Obita. Has to play it off Harry Wimrick, and out of play it goes on the halfway line. Ball thrown in, opportunity to play the ball back onto Rocky Bushiri. Bushiri onto Lewis Miller. Miller onto Cadden on the halfway line. Hibs looking to push their way forward. Hibs haven't beaten Dundee this season, 2 apiece at Easter Road, and Hibs got thumped 4-1 at Dens. Jordan Obita have been sent off. Chris Cadden scored early in that one. Dundee went on to score 4 times. Well, they get a hand in an own goal from Triantis as Dylan Levitt picks the ball up in the midfield. Kuhanovic all alone in the centre circle, can turn, spin, get himself forward, plays it out wide onto Chris Cadden, edge of the box, trying to go on the outside of Larkesh. Larkesh did well, slides, blocks, ball gets pulled back by Cadden, onto Miller, inside it comes, Triantis takes the touch, looks ahead, plays it out wide onto Obita. Hibs are playing lovely football, by the way. Here's Obita, lovely little shuffle, and Wimney will block, it goes behind. It's another corner kick, it goes the way of the home team, 0-0.
Hibs are playing well when they've had opportunities to go forward. Dundee's shape's slightly better now, with Mo Salah just sitting in front, and then they're almost man for man after that, so it's taken Hibs maybe 3 or 4 passes to get the ball into the wider areas, whereas before it was just 2 and they were getting out the other side. So Dundee's slightly better structured, but when Hibs pass the ball, they pass it with intent and meaning, and it's easy on the eye, you have to say it.
Hibs with a corner kick from that right hand side, 0-0 so far, looking for the breakthrough. Bushiri is standing right beside the goalkeeper. He's being pushed away. Miller breaks onto the near post. Miller tries to get it, touch it's in! It's Rocky Bushiri, who's having a wonderful goal scoring season. That's his 4th of the season, and he just hooks the ball into the net, worked his way free. 26 minutes gone. Hibs 1, Dundee 0.
Well, that is how you stick the ball in the back of the net. Unbelievable finish for the big centre back, Paul. Ball comes into the box, and you don't think there's any way he's going to be able to get it in the back of the net. And I think it's his left foot. He wraps his instep round it, and it flies past Trevor Carson before he's got a chance as he runs over and gets his high fives from the bench. 1-0 Hibs.
Oh, sometimes football's a simple game. Got his way free, little hook into the far corner of the net. Rocky Bushiri broke away from Clark Robertson. And Hibs, you have to say, on the balance of play, deserve the lead. Yeah,
they do. I did say as well, one of these corners, they're going to get first contact at some point. I didn't expect it to be with the boot of Rocky Bushiri, more likely the head. However, full credit to him as the fans chant his name. It's a magnificent finish with the left foot.
Well, Rocky Bushiri sometimes put upon, but he started the last 24 matches for Hibs, the only player to do so. A real cornerstone of this Hibs side. And as unlikely as sometimes that may have sounded, he really has grown into this role.
One thing that's really impressed me is his reading of the game and his composure. I always knew Rocky Bushiri, not unlike Rubizic up at Aberdeen, he can defend his box, he can be aggressive. It's those moments where you need to show a bit of composure and an understanding of the game, which I wasn't sure he had in his locker. He's proved me wrong over the last 6 months, because I was up at Tannadice the night Ekterita and O'Hara, etc. were playing, and they really, really struggled. Iredale came on, looked out of his depth that night. But my goodness, is Bushiri and Iredale really grown into this Hibs team.
2 real key figures, and David Gray, with his defensive smarts, Just wonder what work he's been doing with these players. But Hibs lead by 1-0 in Dundee. Well, they struggled at the start of the game, got themselves back into it, but Hibs certainly deserving of that lead now. 28 minutes gone, and an important 5-10 minutes here for Dundee just to keep Hibs at bay again.
Yeah, Hibs will be baying for blood. They'll want to grab another couple of goals as early as they can, and they're certainly playing well enough to do it.
Obita plays the ball into the middle, hooked away by Silla, comes back onto Lewis Miller. Miller inside his opponent's half. Tony Docherty urging his men to come out. They're sitting very deep against this Hibs team. Lewis Miller plays it forward. Triantis level little touch, and then just moves the ball away as Robertson closed him down. Plays it to Ardale. Ardale gets it out wide onto Obita, up against Wimmick. Obita clips the ball in, solid headed away that time by Jordan McGee. And Triantis goes after it again, takes a little touch, plays it round the corner, well kept in.
He's been fantastic, Triantis. Best player on the pitch so far, in my opinion.
Triantis, what a player he has become for Hibs. The 23 international player. Certainly be looking at moving up to the full Australian squad, but the man from Sydney certainly has blossomed, and still only 21. He looks like an experienced player.
He does, and one thing I would say is, you know, he does give the ball away from time to time, but he doesn't always take the safe pass, and that's going to happen from time to time. And for somebody who's probably more defensive than he is attacking in that midfield area, his composure on the ball, takes nice touches. He's the catalyst for that switch of play I was talking about. Everything's going through him at the moment, and Levitt in beside him is winning a lot of tackles in there.
Levitt got bundled to the ground. The referee was happy that the challenge was legal, so it will be a throw-in to Dundee as the ball is out of play. Martin Boyle is complaining to referee Chris Graham. Chris Graham has a little look. Not sure if he's indicating for the physio to come on or not. That was a mixed signal. Hibs physio stands down below just in front of the dugout. Bag in hand, but not required. And Dylan Levitt limps his way back onto his feet. And Dundee will have a throw on that far side. So we've had the opening goal in this one. We've had 2-0 nils in the last 7 between these sides, but certainly we didn't expect it to be goalless, and Hibs have the opening goal.
It's a poor goal to concede. I mean, I know every goal's avoidable, but a ball into the box from a corner, not being touched, and you know, Bushiri gets in front of his man and Abel's volley in the net. It'll be disappointing from Tony Docherty's point of view that that's the type of goal. For all Hibs' good play, that's the type of goal they concede.
Yeah, certainly not helpful. Hibs' 51st league goal of the season. They've conceded 41. Dundee have also scored 50 coming into today. That's their 68th they've conceded, and that's the reason why. One team's in the top 6, one team's in the bottom.
That's a lot of goals to concede.
So, opportunity for Jordan Smith. Free kick given just outside the Hibs box, left-hand side. I still feel a ripple of energy around this stadium. These Hibs fans are enjoying these good times as the ball gets played down the side. Kuhanovic tries to find Hoylett. Hoylett not sure where the ball landed. Mo Silla comes in and gathers. Silla on that right-hand side takes the touches to play it back to Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy takes a little touch, goes to the right-hand side and hooks it over the halfway line. Bushiri wins the header, gets it up onto Junior Hoylett, who does well to keep it in. Back to Jordan Obita. Obita has it on the halfway line, turns, spins and plays it back to Ardale. Ardale starts to break across the centre circle, was taken down late with the balls with Boyle, and Boyle tries to hook it out to Silla. Silla blocks the ball though, and it's coming out wide, and the opportunity for Hibs again to build. Hoylett onto Obita. Boyle made a great run to inside. The ball comes to Levitt. Levitt gets the ball across to Hoylett, and Obita working well down that far side. Hoylett comes short when Obita goes behind him, and vice versa.
Superb to watch, it really is. Movement off the ball, accuracy and speed of the pass between Hoylett, Obita, Triantis, Levitt. They're all getting in on the act.
Well, Hibs do look like a team that are unbeaten in the last 16 league matches. They're knocking the ball about well, they're enjoying it. Everybody's looking for the ball as well.
They are, yeah, and when a team's playing like that, you want to be a part of it. You want to get as many touches as you can. It's enjoyable, powerful, as Stephen Thompson described it.
There's the opportunity for Hibs to get it up to the halfway line. Jordan McGee steps over the ball. It's going to go in behind to Kuhanovic. Kuhanovic wins it well, and back inside onto Levitt, inside his own half. Cadden is in all sorts of space. What a ball that is, and he's kept it in. Runs down the line. Cadden now attacking the edge of the box. Cadden comes in brilliantly away. Flarker sends it across, and it's missed in the back post by Hoylett. came through a whole pile of bodies. Not sure the Canadian thought it was going to reach him, but if it touched him, it was 2-0.
It was. I mean, he sends Larkesh into the stand with the away support with that little shimmy. The body does Cadden, and he drives forward. I'm thinking, shoot, maybe that's a striker in me, but he tries to cut it across, and Hoylett's got to score.
Triantis plays the ball across the box. Jordan McGee had no idea if there was somebody behind him, so he slides in and turns the ball behind. Dundee looking a little bit see here.
It's that quick switch of play. I mean, I've mentioned it all day long, the amount of room Cadden's in there, but you need the ball to be good first of all, and Levitt's ball was phenomenal, right on his toe. The first touch from Cadden was good. He takes on his player. These are things you practice in training all the time, and it's pretty impressive to see it coming off on the match day. It's still only 1-0, and Dundee do have dangerous players, but Hibs got a bit of a second wind here, Paul.
33 minutes gone. Hibs with a corner from the left-hand side. Hibs leading by 1-0. Rocky Bushiri hadn't scored a senior goal prior to this season on the score sheet yet again. Can he do it again? The ball comes in. Bushiri went with his head. The goalkeeper patting it down just in front of him and gathered. And Jordan Obita accidentally, I say in air quotes, running into the goalkeeper to stop him. Why not? Worst you're going to get is a foul against you, and it stops the momentum of Dundee there, who tried to move it forward quickly. Here's Silla, plays the ball back to Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy back on to Trevor Carson. Carson 4 clean sheets in 21. Certainly not going to add to those today as the ball comes all the way back through to him. Dundee just need to hang around for the next few minutes. They have been under pressure. They haven't lost to Hibs this season. They went last through a season unbeaten against Hibs in 2001, 2002. Ball comes out onto this near side. Cadden takes the touch, halfway line, sends it round the corner. There's an opportunity for Karovic. He's under so much pressure, but did well to play the ball back to Bushiri. Bushiri back out wide to Miller. Miller up to the halfway line onto Cadden. Cadden takes the touch. Larkesh blocked it. Cadden picks it up again. Silla goes in, tries to get the touch. Nice play from the Frenchman onto Robertson. Tiffany takes his eye off the ball. It runs out of play. Fourth official didn't get out of the way. It's going to be a throw into Hibs, taken by Cadden onto Triantis on the shady side of the field. He gets it forward, but intercepted by Tiffany. Tiffany plays it forward, but it's too strong. And Jordan Smith will come and gather. Fairly easy afternoon so far for the Hibs goalkeeper. Just one under the crossbar from the corner.
Yeah, as I said, Dundee have been quite direct. It is almost that instinct of, can we find Simon Murray in one of the channels as soon as we get the ball? And whilst that's a legitimate tactic, someone who'll run all day and, you know, will close down and force mistakes and errors, need a little bit more streetwise in terms of building the play at times. Dundee have struggled to do it.
And just really the one other save was when he saved from Simon Murray to the quick free kick. Hoylett for Hibs inside the area, passes the ball across. Great defending again from Dundee. It's Jordan McGee to deny Martin Boyle. Has to turn the ball behind for a corner kick. Boyle was running across that 6-yard box. In fact, it's gone out for a throw, I beg your pardon. And again, on an opportunity.
It's coming down to that last-ditch tackle, which looks great, but it should never get to that point. They're getting absolutely crucified in the wider areas here, Dundee. You know, I'm saying it time and time again because it's happening time and time again. Larkesh, yes, very good one-on-one defender, but you can't allow somebody to run at you, you know, as often as Cadden's doing, because inevitably he's going to get past you at some point.
Lewis Miller to take the throw of the ball right beside the corner flag. And Miller stands, holds the ball in the air, and comes forward. That is a long throw, headed away by Clark Robertson. Scott Tiffany has it outside the box. Nice touch over the halfway line. Finlay Robertson who runs into Chris Cadden. Ball bounces down. Cadden does well, but he's lost out in the end to Tiffany. Tiffany tried to nutmeg him, and then Cadden goes down, blocks him, and the ball comes back off the Dundee man, thrown down to Hibs.
Yeah, he's another one who's been exceptional. Cadden, very, very good.
Nearly 37 minutes gone. Our second commentary match of the afternoon. The first, well, a little bit exciting. Aberdeen and Rangers 2 apiece. Aberdeen 2-0 at half-time. Rangers were down to 10 men. And Rangers through England. And a late goal from Hadji, making sure the title race, albeit arithmetically, goes to next week. Ball is out of play. That'll be 2 weeks' time now. Scottish Cup weekend. Next weekend, all the action you will hear. Aberdeen and Hearts at Hampden on Saturday. And it's a terrible ball by Jordan Smith. Smith tried to play it to Ardale. Simon Murray gathered. He then back heels it into Ardale. and Ardale somehow gets away. Celtic St Johnstone next Sunday, as Jordan Smith obviously didn't want me to do the read. Here's the opportunity as Shaughnessy takes his man down, a little bit heavy on Martin Boyle, and it's a decision for the referee, and Chris Graham issues a warning.
It's got to be a booking. It is cynical, intentional, and he just wipes him out on purpose. That is a stonewall yellow card. I do not know how he's gotten away with that one.
Only thing I can think of, Rory, is perhaps the captain's armband, but I'm with you. I was just expecting the referee to apply yellow. 7 minutes to half-time. Hibs leading by 1-0. Good crowd inside Easter Road on this Sunday afternoon. Palm Sunday 2025. Ball gets dragged back. Triantis, that's probably his first bad pass, but you mentioned earlier he will try for the passes, but that occasion was played back to him by Hoylett. McCadden wasn't in the position to make the run.
No, he wasn't, and Triantis is saying he feels Cadden should have. I disagree. I think it's Cadden's done the work beforehand. As Dundee give it away.
Well, Dundee gave the ball away. Clark Robertson wanted Larkesh to come and get it. Larkesh basically shrugged his shoulders and said it was your ball, and it gets knocked out of play. Kuhanovic somehow manages to get the final touch. It was horrible from Dundee. Ball thrown in, comes off the back of Simon Murray. Murray then throws the ball down at the feet of Lewis Miller, who doesn't react. He just gathers just in front of Tony Docherty, and the Australian gets ready to throw the ball in. Hibs leading by 1-0. Rocky Bushiri on target. His first goal since scoring against Ayr in the Scottish Cup. That was a late winner. And as the ball gets played up and high in the air, Jordan McGee won it, heads it forward. Abita back over the halfway line. McGee wins the header again. Lewini, who's barely been in the game, the ball's not really gotten anywhere near him. As the ball's gone out of play, it'll be a throw. Jordan Abita a little bit slow to get back to his feet. Chris Cadden pops across to the near side to get a drink. Jordan Abita, and we'll go across. Well, I thought he was going to take the throw. It's going to be Jack Ardale. Hoylett trots back into position, and the opportunity for the throw-in. Dundee dropped players. Martin Boyle came short. Really could do with somebody coming close to him, because all the Hibs players were down the far side, were away. Chris Cadden has the right-hand side to himself. It's a long throw. Kuhanovic plays it in. Adewumne gives the ball away. Levitt gets it back in. Again, Cadden should do well just to stretch himself out to this right-hand side. There's nobody with him if Hibs could find that ball, but instead they go down the left-hand side. Martin Boyle is there. Boyle tried to keep it in, didn't do so.
Look, the fact that, when the Hibs have got the ball on the left-hand side, from a Dundee point of view, it's not a disaster that he's in lots of space, Cadden, because you'd be thinking, right, you can make the ground up. By the time the ball gets from point A all the way out to point B, which is Cadden, you'll be able to shuffle across. But Hibs are doing it that well. Dundee aren't getting the time to do it, so they need to try and organise themselves better. And that's why I'm pointing to Cadden and saying, look at the space that he's in.
Dundee have it inside their own half. Ball played on to Finlay Robertson. Robertson on the outside. Zaid Larkesh under pressure from Triantis. Triantis wins it. Larkesh brings him down. And again, you could argue that was slightly cynical. He knew he was beaten. He was on the deck. Triantis was still up and trying to get away. But the free kick is given. Hibs 1, Dundee 0. Triantis wants to leave it. Somebody's going to have to take it. Dylan Levitt will come across and get ready to take. Welsh internationalists would love to get back on the international scene. Still only 24 years old. And Dylan Levitt, well, if Hibs keep playing the way they're doing, will certainly come to the attention of the Welsh squad. And Levitt stands. Dundee, everybody back behind the ball. Levitt strikes it right-footed up towards the edge of the box. Silla wins the header, drops down. Kuhanovic steps in, gets the shot away, head back across. Could be a chance here. Miller stayed forward, got the shot away. It's blocked outside the box, comes back to Jordan Obita. Out wide again. Lewis Miller, the right back in a left wing position. Takes a little touch, twist, gets the cross in. It's deep, chance, and headed behind. Junior Hoylett got himself up, not the tallest player, heads it behind, but again, Hibs' willingness to get the ball forward to support, almost paying off.
Yeah, it just shows, I mean, Lewis Miller's the right-sided centre-back in a 3. He's getting a shot in the box, popping up there, and then he's taking the ball outside and getting a cross into the box as well. A good cross at that. I thought Hoylett should probably have tried to get it back across the goals rather than trying to get header on target because he was stretching, but more dominance from Hibs.
Forward it goes from the goalkeeper, bodies flying. The referee happy there was nothing nefarious about it. And Chris Cadden brings the ball away. Sun drops again as the shade takes over. And Hibs through Triantis, hooks it up to Jack Ardale, under control. Ariwumi stepped in front of him, but Ardale finds some space, turns, twists, that goes between him and Mulligan and plays the ball out wide. Opportunity for Hibs. Martin Boyle now tearing up at the edge of the box, trying to come on the inside of Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy does enough, and then Carson comes to his rescue, slides out of his goal to gather the ball. 2 minutes to half time. Here's Rory Loy.
Yeah, it's in a masterclass in one-on-one defending. He's done it a couple of times now, Joe Shaughnessy. Really good at that. He won't thank his teammates for being so exposed. Jordan McGee far too high up the pitch there as Hibs break down the sides again.
You see why Tony Docherty was so desperate to get him back. Here's Finlay Robertson in the midfield, inside the Hibs half. Turns, plays the ball behind. Jordan McGee. McGee drops it short to Silla. Back to McGee, being forced backward by Hibs. Little jab ball forward, trying to find Mulligan. Ardale sends it away. Andy Wimney will pick up as Robertson played it forward to him. He stops, gets away from Bushiri. Good backup play from Dylan Levitt means Dundee not getting to move the ball as they want down the sides. And again, more pressure from Levitt. Levitt trying to get onto McGee. McGee sneaky his way down the touchline. Ball into the middle, deflected. It comes into the arms of Jordan Smith. Smith rolls the ball forward. Cadden being tracked back by Tiffany. Tiffany does enough to halt the run, but Cadden's still got the ball. Inside, Nectar Triantis. Triantis driving forward. Lovely pass onto Hoylett. Hoylett failed by Joe Shaughnessy. And there's the yellow card. Got away with the first one, not the second one. First yellow of the match.
Yeah, the referee must have said to him, look, any form of foul in any capacity after that last one, you'll be in the book, and that's exactly what happens. But Cadden again, so positive driving forward. Oh, is he going to let that go?
Free kick taken quickly, and the referee's basically saying, look, I've got my book out.
Yeah.
It's not easy to write the word Shaughnessy quickly.
Well, that's true. To be fair, he should have penciled it in after the last tackle, because it was coming.
Here's Hibs with a chance just before half-time, just waiting on the board from Peter Stewart going up, but he's taking a note of the caution as well. And now goes back to get that board. Just trying to have a look, see if he can sneak a look in the little area as the ball gets played forward. The free kick headed away, back into Triantis. Boyle tries to get underneath it, breaks down and comes on to Mulligan. Mulligan takes the chances, trying to get away from three players, and Miller says, I won the ball. Mulligan goes down, wanted the free kick. Hibs, Bushiri, Kuhanovic, low with a shot, just wide. One additional minute to be played. Mikula Kuhanovic came so close, the edge of the box was fed well, and just went wide.
I mean, I spoke about, Lewis Miller popping up in the box, putting crosses in the box. I'm now witnessing balls getting whipped into Bashiri's feet with his back to goal, popping it off first time. These centre-backs for Hibs have been great, as has Cadden and Triantis and Hoylett as well. He's popped up in good areas. And Kuhanovic really unlucky not to find the bottom corner there.
Yeah, at the start of the season, O'Hara and Ekpiteta were the first choices in that centre half. Hibs were playing a 4, they've gone to 3. And now Miller, Bushiri and Ardale, well, that trio at the back, they've been pretty solid. Hibs leading by 1-0 half-time. It's just a few seconds away.
That will be the biggest frustration for David Gray. Whilst they've not... What, that is half-time.
We'll get Rory's thoughts in a moment about the biggest frustration for Hibs. But at half-time, warm applause for the home team. They started so quickly against the Dundee side, who weren't quite sure what to do, but they found some footing. But in the end, Hibs had too much for them. The goal coming after 26 minutes. Rocky Bushiri, corner kick from the left. He hooked the ball home. Carson had no chance. The ball tucked into the back of the net. Half-time at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Dundee 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
Last time in the Europa League.
Can he score? Kelly's boot saves the penalty. say to this crowd now, they can appreciate how much he's kept Rangers in this tie going over to Spain for the second leg.
Rangers keep a clean sheet.
Another incredible European night.
European football lives here.
10-man Rangers nil. Athletic Club Bilbao nil.
Catch the second leg live on Sports Sound.
They're at home, but we'll go and give it our best shot and try and get through into the semi-finals.
Rangers in the Europa League, Thursday from 6.
Listen on digital radio or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
So join the guys on Thursday night for the second leg of that Europa League tie. Rangers, you would not count them out given some of the results that they have somehow fashioned over the course of this season. One of those came earlier this afternoon, 2-2 draw here at what is now a deserted Pittodrie, but it was full of life and full of supporters earlier on. Aberdeen 2-0 up at half-time. Egeman and Hadji with the goals in the second half to level it up for 10-man Rangers. Ross McCausland sent off just before Papa Gay got Aberdeen second. Leighton Clarkson had fired the Dons ahead with a magnificent free kick in the 31st minute. Action-packed it was, and Rangers emerged with a draw. We'll get a reaction from here in just a moment or two. Let's just get some reflections from Rory on the opening 45 there at Easter Road. From what I've watched on the monitor here at Pittodrie, I've got to say it's just been pretty much total dominance from the home side, hasn't it, Rory?
Yeah, out with a 10-minute period where Dundee got a little bit of control in the game and had a couple of corners and things. Hibs have absolutely controlled the rest of the half. They've been very, very good, but you know, Tony Docherty can't be in there just accepting that Hibs are playing well and, you know, the better team. Dundee haven't laid a glove on them, and I don't think it's necessarily because of how good Hibs have been. I think Dundee have been a little bit shy in pressing Hibs, going after the ball, and Hibs have done well, but Dundee have got the players to play far better than they are doing. They're very direct. You know, as I said during commentary, Simon Murray will chase all day long and he'll harry and harass defenders. We've seen when he closed the keeper down there, Jordan Smith, into a mistake. But you can't just rely on that. You can't rely on balls into the channel, into the corners for him to chase in the hope that Bushiri, you know, makes a mistake or somebody makes a mistake, because their form recently, they're not going to make a mistake. So I think their patience and their build-up play could be much better. So credit, it's getting that balance between giving Hibs credit and looking what can Dundee do better. They can definitely be more composed on the ball. They need to look after their shape better because they're conceding far too many dangerous opportunities coming down the sides. Carden's been excellent in that half, but yeah, Hibs have been a joy to watch, I have to say, Richard. As things stand, Hibernian are halfway towards 17 unbeaten in the league. They would go 3 points clear of both Dundee United and Aberdeen, who are currently in 4th and 5th place, and they would be firm favourites to secure that 3rd spot and the guarantee of Europa League, or the almost certain guarantee of group stage football for next season. That could depend, or will depend, of course, on what happens in the Scottish Cup, but they would give themselves a fair chance. Hibernian Dundee would remain second bottom, a point behind Ross County and Kilmarnock, and they will indeed remain in 11th spot unless they can score, unless they can find something in the second half. So live commentary to come from Paul and Rory in the capital. In SWPL this afternoon, in the bottom half of the table, it was Aberdeen 2, Spartans 4. Almost midway through the first half, it's Queen's Park 0, Montrose 0. In the top half of the table, big game, Hibernian 1, Hearts 2. The league leaders Hibernian had been in front, but Hearts turned it round in the second half. Glasgow City are 3-0 up against Motherwell. Brenna Lavera with the first couple of goals there, and that would be enough, or is enough as things stand, to send them back on top of the table on goal difference. But Rangers in 3rd place, and with a game in hand, are playing Celtic in the big match at 4:10. That is live on BBC Alapa. We'll keep you across the first half, certainly, here on Sports Sound. Let's get some reflections on the thrilling 2-2 draw spoken about here at Pittodrie. We'll hear first from the Aberdeen manager, Jimmy Tilleen.
Jimmy, just give us your overriding feelings and emotions after that.
Of course, it's frustrations when you lose a goal like that in the last second of the game. So it was tough for us. But we have to move on. We have an important game now on Saturday in semi-final. The game itself, the first half is strong. I think it's good how we more close to identity. Don't hesitations. We arrive, good timing, how we arrive to the box and create the chances or situations. In the second half, I think like it can happen sometimes. It should not happen, but it can happen when they play more like a low block transition, and we have time on the ball. And then instead of taking initiative to attack more, we play more sideways and backwards, or some passes. Then they get the transitions and get the early goal, and then. But I think still, if they score 2-1 early, and that's a learning point for us as a team to keep our identity, even if it's don't be more eager to score 3-1 and defend 2-1. And I think that's was a little bit hurtful today when we have to do better that in future. Still, I think we create good chances in the second half, but we should have done much more and play more into the box instead of outside the box and invite them to transitions.
I guess at 2-0 up and with the extra man, I reckon everyone in here probably thought Aberdeen would go on and win this game.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it can happen sometimes when you have to like this one extra, and you get more time on the ball because they play so low and just waiting for that transition moment. And then instead of keep pushing for 3-1, you think you can protect the ball in different areas, and they still, even when they score 2-1, you know what, you can always get one more chance inside the game. So you have to go for the third one. And today I think like it's quite okay game. It's easy to forget sometimes when you lose this goal in the end, but in the future we have to do better when we play with one player more so much time.
Kevin Nisbet obviously had the ball in the net late in the game. It was a huge moment in the game. The goal obviously didn't stand. If you had a look at it, and what's your take on it?
No, but I said we have I think we have 3 crosses before that, like really good opportunities, but it was disallowed, and that's what it is.
Is it going to be difficult to kind of pick the boys up after that? Because it must feel like a real sore one for the guys.
I think you have to give some time today, but also if you're a good team and you have so much to play for in the league and the semi-final, good teams look forward and not backwards. We have to move on and keep the belief in this season and focus on the right things.
How do you assess the battle for third in the European places? Because it does have the feeling of one that is going to go right down to the wire. And I know we've said this quite a lot. There's not really any margin for error, and maybe if you take a step back, the 2 points that were dropped in the end today could be pretty crucial.
It can be, but we have to. Now this game is over. We know that it was only 1 point, and we have to focus on the right things now. And again, we have to focus on our performance and go for these ones.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That stunning late strike from Yanis Hadji meant that Aberdeen remain in 5th place. They're on 50 points alongside Dundee United, and at start of play at Easter Road alongside Hibernian. But Hibs currently 1-0 up. We'll be back for second half commentary in that one. Let's get the Rangers viewpoint then. Barry Ferguson also spoke to Tyrone Smith.
Barry, just give us your thoughts and emotions after that.
Well, after going down to 10 men and 2-0 down, you've got to be pretty happy with coming back into the game and getting a point. I want to win games of football, but we're making it hard for ourselves with continually going down to 10 men. Maybe that's on me in terms of how I want us to kind of approach it and be aggressive. And even when Ross gets a yellow card, at that stage I'm actually thinking of changing, maybe making a substitute. But listen, it goes on, and then he takes a second yellow and gets sent off, and then it's backs against the wall stuff. So I thought the second half I had to make a few changes, obviously at half time, and I was a lot happier with the second half. I thought we created a few chances. I thought we looked dangerous in the break, but it would help if we kept 11 men on the pitch.
In terms of the sending off, were you disappointed perhaps with the fact that Ross, already being on a booking, made the rash?
Yeah, that's something he needs to learn. Maybe he's just trying to impress too much. But again, I'll kind of shoulder a bit of that as well. Maybe I should take the responsibility away and make the substitution. But I thought because he has had the experience of playing games that he would understand that you can't just fly into tackles after being on a yellow. So that's something that Ross will learn, and hopefully he'll get better at.
The ball in the back of the net at the end of the first half, What have you seen it again? Have you taken that?
Yeah, I don't think you can see whether it's an or out. That's the issue. Look, I don't want to get into it, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. But again, I've only had one look at it. My staff and the analysts have had a look at it. Listen, it is what it is. It looked into me. Obviously, the referee makes a decision. We're disappointed with it, but listen, we just got on with it, and thankfully, as I said, we get back into the game.
At 2-0 down and a man down at the break, a lot of teams could have gone under completely. You must be happy with the character that the group showed to come away from this game with something.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've tried to drill into them. But we've got to get a lot better at a lot more things. But look, one thing about them is they'll dig deep for me. They showed a bit of character, a bit of desire, but we don't help ourselves. That's the issue I have just now. And I know I make a lot of changes, but that's on my shoulders. I made a decision yesterday. Did it help? I thought it would give people the opportunity to go and give me problems. And then obviously we get the sending off, and then I need to shuffle the pack again at half time. It's no ideal, but look, one thing about the boys, I've got to give them credit, is they never give in. They kept going to the end, and thankfully we got that equaliser.
Things got a bit heated on the pitch after the final whistle. What actually?
A bit of handbags. Listen, it's a bit of passion. I don't mind that. Aberdeen players were showing a bit of passion. I turned round and my players were showing a bit of passion. That's what I want to see. I don't mind that. I think it's a dime art in the game, a bit of passion. And listen, it was nothing really. It was just two teams. One at Aberdeen lose a couple of points that they're disappointed in, and we're disappointed coming up here and losing to.
And on to Bilbao now.
Yep, we'll let straight to work. The bus down. The analysts have got everything prepared for me and the staff, and we'll sit down and we'll start think about what we were going to approach it. Look, I've got a real good idea in my mind what way I'm going to approach it. In terms of personnel, I just need to wait and 3 or 4 who are going to be available. But if somebody's touch and go, I'm not going to risk them, because I need people who are ready to go to war, basically, because what an opportunity this is, not just for the group of players but the club to hopefully get into the semi-finals.
Barry, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much.
Barry Ferguson, look, he's certainly had plenty of evidence of watching his team being able to come from behind. It is remarkable. It's 7 Premiership games in a row now that they have conceded 2 or more goals. They've come from behind so many times. They've done it again with 10 men this afternoon. He did say beforehand there were players with who were injured, players who were carrying knocks. There may be doubts for Thursday, and well, the assessment there, he will start his work on the bus on the way back down the road. And that game against Athletic Bilbao, the second leg, you can see it live or hear it live on Sports Sound from 6 o'clock on Thursday night. Remember the highlights from all the weekend's top flight action. Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And do listen out Monday to Friday, every day of the week. The Scottish Football Daily podcast with all the very latest football news is available wherever you pick up your podcasts. That will certainly, the episode you pick up tomorrow will be reflecting on events at Easter Road, where Hibernian are 1-0 up and in a strong position to maintain this remarkable run that David Gray has led his team to. Unbeaten in their last 16 Premiership matches. They've gone flying up the table from the bottom right up to 3rd place, and as things stand, if they can see this out, they would open up a 3-point advantage over both Dundee United and Aberdeen. Can they do so, or can Dundee find a way back in the second 45 minutes? Stick with us here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland for full live commentary. Hibernian against Dundee with Rory Loy and Paul Mitchell.
Thanks, Richard. When Dundee rattled in that 4th goal against Hibs to win by 4-1, they were 7 points ahead of the Easter Road side. Hibs, if they win today, will be 19 points ahead of Dundee. What a change there has been, and it has been unbelievable. Dundee coming into today looking to beat Hibs to Hibs in back-to-back games for the first time in the top flight since January of 2002, when they won 3 in a row under Ivano Benetti. Those were the days at Dundee, and we shall see if they can come from behind. It's not something they've done too often, and they have the opportunity to do so today. They have won 2 of just 17 matches. They've lost the opening goal, one of them against Kilmarnock, the other against Hibernian. Larkesh is off at half-time. No great surprise there, perhaps. The change is made. Amari Samuels is the player that's introduced. Silla picks up. Samuels has the ball on that far side. First touch for him. Plays it forward. Dundee coming from left to right. And the dark blue, Hibs in the green. Ball into the box. Tiffany is there. Tiffany turns, spins, gets blocked, and Hibs will just thump the ball clear. Triantis up to the halfway line. Shaughnessy waits, plays the ball forward. Miller tries to get the head flick in. He does so. Plays it wide onto Chris Cadden. Cadden forward onto Kuharovic. Kuharovic up against Shaughnessy. He has to be careful. The only player yellow carded so far in the game. Here's Miller. Miller plays the ball back. Rory Loy's alongside me. I heard somebody describe Chris Cadden as a wandered down at half time as a centre forward's dream. Did you dream of players like Chris Cadden?
Well, he gets the ball into them early, and there's a good understanding there. It's quite often, as you'd expect, Kuharovic who comes short and Martin Boyle who's looking to go in behind, but there's no taking of needless touches from Cadden. It's head up, get it into the striker. The onus is then on the striker to hold the ball up and bring others into play. So yeah, I can understand why that statement's been made for sure.
Here comes Jordan McGee coming down the right hand side. Adewumre plays it forward onto Josh Mulligan. Mulligan gathers, plays the ball on the inside. Adewumre leaves it for Silla. I'm not sure if he meant to or not, but he did. And now McGee tries to play the ball forward. McGee loses out. Hibs of players there, although Levitt, almost a very dodgy one. It does get forward in the end to Kuharovic. Kuharovic holds up. He's hit the post. He's sent one wide. He's had a couple of chances today, but Hibs from shade to sunshine. Levitt to Miller. And Cadden on that far side. Chris Cadden picks up. Being driven backwards, but he flicks the ball forward, but straight to Clark Robertson.
Couldn't he write that? I did say that he's able to pass it without looking and knows exactly where they'll be. Literally just passed it round the corner, and none of the strikers were to be seen where they should have been shuffled across. And Kuharovic should have been there for Cadden, but he wasn't.
Not on that occasion. Dundee going to come from behind against the Hibs side, full of confidence. Remember, Dundee United, Hibs and Aberdeen all on 50 points in the race for third place. Hibs are normally on 53 with this win. And then we'll wait for the fixture computer to do its stuff. Well, the Hibs might find themselves on their travels once more than they would perhaps like to when things come together in the shuffle. We shall see. Ball played out wide onto Samuels. Horrific first touch straight to Kuharovic. Kuharovic midway inside his opponent's half, takes the touch, leads it around the corner. Trent's brilliant ball onto Boyle at the edge of the box, trying to shape up. Shaughnessy meant he couldn't get the shot away. Still going. He's going sideways though, hitting a lot of players. Shaughnessy again, right place for Dundee. 1-2 almost work between Miller and Boyle. And Samuels will gather, open things up. Adewumre trying to get away on that left-hand side. Ardale bit early. Adewumre's got pace. He might try and get away from Ardale. Ardale recovers, wins the ball, shoves him to the deck. Ball back over the halfway line. And it is with Junior Hoylett. Hoylett launches it into the middle. It's going to be too far for Martin Boyle. Comes all the way through onto Trevor Carson. Here are the thoughts of Rory Loy.
Yeah, well, Amari Samuels has went from doing some pretty good things to the downright ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, what he was thinking there with that touch, I have no idea. It was, you described it as horrific. I mean, it literally bounced off him and created an opportunity for Hibs. The ball then finds him its way back to him, and he does really, really well to set Adewumre away. But it was good defending in the end. As Dundee just see the ball out the pitch again. But it's an interesting start. That's to be fair from Amari Samuels.
Yeah, we're seeing the good and the bad, and he is the only change at half-time. I'll run you through the teams in a moment. It's still a forward onto Mulligan. Adewumre has got an opportunity to run up to the edge of the box, plays it into the middle. Horrible ball. Bushiri was there, easily ahead of Simon Money. And now it gets played forward. And takes a little touch of Abita. Abita pulls the ball back. Tries to get it away, given away again by McGee. Hoylett picks up onto Abita. Abita clips it forward. Kuharovic trying to get the touch on to Levitt. Josh Mulligan is in there. Mulligan plays it open onto Finlay Robertson, just 22 years old, 21st start of the season. Back into Mulligan. Mulligan thought about the shot, and I'll tell you why in a minute why he wasn't going to take it. The ball gets played out wide. Here's Amari Samuels. Samuels into the middle. Adewumre almost in there. Jordan McGee coming in, gets the header. It's an easy save in the end for the goalkeeper. Adewumre was in a much better position, but couldn't get contact.
No, he couldn't get contact. I think it was Jordan McGee at the back post. He just couldn't generate the power. It's from a standing start. The ball's got no pace on it. and it's a comfortable take in the end from Smith. But at the Wimmy before, you know, he tries to cross the ball into the box. It's just a pass. It should be a pass into Simon Murray's path to go and tap the ball into the net. He gets it all wrong. But that was a huge opportunity for Dundee. Not so much the header from McGee, but the Adewumi one.
Here comes Dundee again. Dundee moving from left to right, long from the goalkeeper. Tiffany brought it down and now can play it out wide. Here comes Jordan McGee. McGee takes the touch round the corner to Mulligan. Mulligan gets it into Tiffany. Tiffany under a little bit of pressure, lays the ball back to McGee. McGee on to Silla. Silla will open it up again from the shaded side of the field to the sunshine on that far side. Oh, the shade is creeping further and further across. It's almost at halfway. In the centre spot. Here comes Mulligan for Dundee. Mulligan drops his shoulder. There's a little run. Good play. Mulligan into the box. He bursts trying to get past Obita. Obita makes it hard from. Ball runs behind. Great defending from Jordan Obita. But this is what I was going to mention, Rory. Mulligan, Silla and Robertson, the three midfield players for Dundee. 107 appearances between them this season. Not a single goal between them. Now, Silla's a sitting player, but they're not getting any real goals from that midfield area.
That surprises me. I was convinced Mulligan had got a goal. I trust your stats, Paul, more than I would trust my memory, that's for sure. But I'm really surprised at that. I thought Mulligan had got on the score sheet more than once, so it just goes to show my memory's not great. I thought he scored against Rangers at one of the games I was at. But yeah, I mean, you need to get goals from the midfield area. Some. You can't have no goals in there in that amount of appearances, and it's probably part of the reason why Dundee are in the position they are. But they don't struggle for goals. They just all seem to come from the same sources consistently. Murray, Adewumi, Tiffany.
Yeah, 30 goals between them, the front players, as Hibs launch the ball long. The flag has stayed down. Martin Boyle goes in on goal, tries to get away from Shaughnessy. He's done so. He stands up and passes the ball to Jordan McGee. Then the flag goes up. There was little doubt it was offside, but assistant just played it to make sure. Certainly looked offside, and the flag goes up, no problem in the end. But again, Dundee getting sprung very quickly.
I understand the rule, and I don't think it's a bad rule that, you know, you may think it's just offside, but you keep the flag down. In instances like that, I think Martin Boyle knows inevitably that he's offside, and that's why he maybe loses that bit of concentration. If it's clear and it's obvious, just get your flag up and get on with it, and that's exactly what Tony Docherty was saying to the fourth official.
Dundee go long. Adewumi trying to get the better of Iredale. Iredale's gone to ground. Adewumi tries to keep the ball in, can't do so. I think it came off the Hibs man, the corner kick. Well, the corner's been given, and the referee then gives the goal kick and then puts up his signal to say, no, I've overruled you. And it is now going to come across to be a free kick for the little pro by Adewumi.
It certainly wasn't a free kick in my book. I think the two of them went to go shoulder to shoulder. Adewumi repositions his body and Iredale hits the deck. I think he gets away with one there, Iredale. I don't think that's a foul.
Yeah, I'm with you. Didn't think so. So Dundee have scored 10 goals in the last 3 Scottish Premiership matches. Can they find a way to get on the score sheet here? The scoreboard reads Hibs 1, Dundee 0. The goal coming from Rocky Bushiri after 26 minutes. Forward it goes. Shaughnessy wins the header. Went through his man to do so as well. Simon Murray manages to keep the ball in, but he hooks the ball all the way into the Hibs area. Hibs with Jordan Smith in goal. It's a back three of Miller, Bushiri and Iredale. Cadden, Levitt, Triantis and Obita. Boyle, Hoylett, Kaharovic, the front three. Hibs coming down that right-hand side. Hibs going from right to left. Lovely interchange of play. Cadden moved it forward quickly to Boyle. Boyle plays it. Obita's out wide on the left-hand side. He tried to get the ball into the box first time. Dundee again clear through McGee. Hibs look to come forward again. Miller gets the ball, trying to get away from Robertson. Robertson blocks him. Finlay Robertson came back. Hibs have a corner. 3 stands here. In fact, even 4, because there's some Hibs fans behind the goal to our right-hand side, such as the demand to come and watch Hibs these days, applauding.
Yeah, it's a bit of a baptism of fire for Imari Samuels in this game. He's come on. I didn't think Lakesh did overly badly. I don't think his teammates helped him much, and he did get taken to the cleaners a couple of times by Cadden, but overall I thought he did okay. So Imari Samuels has come on, like for like change, but he's struggled so far. Corner kick.
Obita plays it in. Shaughnessy gets the header away. Cadden back into the box, right-hand side. Lewis Miller is there. Miller up at the edge of the box now, driving at Shaughnessy. Opens up, tried the low shot. Goalkeeper gathers easily enough. Trevor Carson looks to launch it long. Thought about it, and then just bowls the ball out to Jordan McGee, former Hearts player, now with Dundee. Forward it comes on to Mulligan. Mulligan will gather, lay the ball back on the inside. And Dundee, again, I mean, without Joe Shaughnessy this afternoon, they'd be in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, they would. He's dealt with some really tricky situations comfortably, which you couldn't have said or had the faith in maybe others to do had he not been in the team. So he's probably part of the reason it is still only 1-0. And whilst it is still only 1-0, I'd like to see more from Adewumi, because he's a talented player. I've seen him turn up in big games this season and do fantastically well. Even there, the ball's played up to him. He needs to get in front. He needs to show more.
Well, they blocked Iredale there, the ball into Murray. Murray will gather up to the edge of the area. He comes, plays it, and he takes it on his left foot, tries to get the strike away. Miller in there, then the flag goes up, which I think Rory Loy was expecting to come a little bit earlier as well. But Dundee showing a little bit more menace.
Yeah, I said in the first half they were really passive. They didn't go and press Hibs as much as they should have done. And the fact that Hibs were so easily gifted possession of the ball, and all it takes there is Adewumi to go in and closing and get nearer the ball, and it deflects into Murray's path, who's offside. He shouldn't be offside. But yeah, that's all it took. A little bit of pressure.
Dundee trailing by 1-0. Hibs looking for win number 12, unbeaten in 17 it would be today. 11 wins, 5 draws coming into today. It's an amazing run, including victories against Rangers and Hearts. Dundee United. As the opportunity for the throw for Hibs comes in. Jordan Obita. Obita throws it in. Silla read it, kept the ball in. Silla under some pressure again from Kuhanovic, and Obita. Lots of yellow boots on down there. The ball does go out of play, but the referee said Kuhanovic was pulling on the jersey. And the free kick goes the way of Dundee. Jordan McGee getting the ball back from Jordan Obita. And Dundee will try and move this ball forward. Martin Boyle calling for it. Launched long. Bushiri brings the ball down. Dropped across onto Dylan Levitt. Levitt onto Obita, down the side, the left-hand side. And Shaughnessy has to head the ball out of play.
It's that situation there, Paul. Trevor Carson comes across to take a free kick. He's got options to pass the ball 5-10 yards to try and build our way up the pitch. He just hoofs it up the pitch in the hope that Simon Murray might be able to beat Rocky Bushiri in the air. And all of a sudden, they give the ball away and they're back under pressure.
Yeah, Bushiri against Murray. You take Bushiri 90% of the time. Here's the opportunity for Hibs to lead by 1-0 under pressure. Mulligan in the midfield. Levitt went down. The referee has given the free kick. And it will come for Hibs. Dundee this afternoon. Trevor Carson will go the back for McGee, Shaughnessy, Robertson, and now Samuels, Mulligan, Silla, and Robertson, Finlay Robertson, and Adewumi, Murray, Tiffany, the front three. Other changes may come relatively quickly as the ball gets played away. Finlay Robertson from Clark Robertson. Miller battling for it on the halfway line, trying to get away from Tiffany, but he's given the ball away. Opportunity for Dundee to get the ball forward. Inside it comes. Tiffany from Mulligan. And Tiffany, well, if he'd been playing the other way, that would have been a great pass, but he sent it, what, 10-15 yards behind McGee?
Yeah, it's just a mistake, a really poor one. The accuracy of the pass across the field was horrendous, to be totally honest with you. It can happen. To be fair to Tiffany, he's shown for the ball all day. He's had a tough afternoon, but he won't shy away from it after that.
Yeah, not like him. Hibs get the ball forward, into the box it goes. Boyle with a chance. Clark Robertson steps across to block the shot at the edge of the 6-yard box. He was looking for offside. It wasn't coming. Hibs moved the ball forward quickly. They have another corner.
Yeah, and it's never good from Tiffany's point of view when you look at the bench straight after the mistake like that and somebody's getting stripped. It looks like Seb Palmer Holden's going to come on, and I'd bet my bottom dollar it might be Scott Tiffany coming off.
Yeah, Seb Palmer Holden getting himself back from injury. Played a little bit last week and getting ready to go once more. Hibs have a corner through Martin Boyle on the left-hand side. Hibs leading by 1-0. Boyle steps up, scoops the ball in there, headed away well by Jordan McGee. Good player to have in those situations. Ball up to the halfway line. Ardale round the side onto Boyle. Boyle trying to get away from Simon Murray. Murray knocked the ball out of play. Former teammates having a little word with each other as the ball gets rolled back down. Dundee are thinking about the change. I'm not sure they're quite ready. Now they will come and bring the board up. Let's see, it is Scott Tiffany who will be withdrawn. And like you, he's never had, but that last pass may have just been the last straw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just based on that pass. A change has to come inevitably at some point, I think, to get Dundee back into the game. Seb Palmer-Houlden, different type to Scott Tiffany. You quite often find Tiffany's the one to come off in these situations, so I don't think it was down to that. What was just a mistake can happen.
I like Tiffany, always looks for the ball, as you mentioned, very lively. Well, he has been popped onto the bench for now. Hibs 1, Dundee 0, the last of the matches in the Scottish Premiership before we go to the top 6, bottom 6. 3 different teams in the top 6 this season compared to last. Silly Rangers, St Mirren all in as before. Here's the opportunity for Mulligan to move forward, bundled down at the edge of the box. Jack Iredale was coming. Mulligan was cute, I think he saw the defender and just decided to stop. And Jack Iredale threw him Kuharovic as well, and the opportunity to get the ball across here.
He stopped so suddenly, Josh Mulligan, that Kuharovic's pace and that he was running at, it was really impossible for him. Out with disappearing to get out of the way, so it was a foul though, in fairness. It's a big opportunity for Dundee.
Billy Robertson getting ready to deliver, and it is a smidgen outside the box on the right hand side, just beyond the apex of the area.
It's leaving a big gap at the front post.
Ball is whipped in, it's deep, it's Lewis Miller who wins the header up to the edge of the box. Bodies flying, free kick awarded. That's good defending from Lewis Miller, but Rory, that's not good from a Dundee perspective.
That's criminal. I mean, Clark Robertson, Tony Dockett spoke about experience. You recognise you're not going to win it. Don't push him with 2 hands and make it so easy for the referee to give the free kick, because you don't know where Lewis Miller's header's going to end up. It could end up going back into the box when he's under pressure. It could land at the feet of one of your players, but you just relieve all momentum and pressure by making a really daft decision.
Hibs leading by 1-0 to 0. They last trailed in a Scottish Premiership match back in February up at Tannadice against Dundee United. They went on to win by 3-1, scored a couple of goals very, very late that night. And Jack Iredale gets ready to play the ball forward from the throw. Iredale whips the ball well over the halfway line. Shaughnessy allows the ball to bounce and has to turn and play the ball out of play. Well, from a throw-in, basically, I mean, they've gone almost from inside their own area all the way up to the edge of the box here. Hoylett from Obita. Obita pulls it back onto Junior Hoylett. Hoylett almost pulled the trigger. Silla tried to block, so he didn't play the ball. Obita, that's poor. He just goes the other side. And Seb Palmer-Houlden and runs the ball out of play. Carson has a little look, sees what his options are. The referee just saying, hold on, there's another change coming. And I think it's a home change this time. Kuharovic will give way for Kieran Bowie. So there's the first change of the afternoon for David Gray.
Yeah, I think Hoylett and Kuharovic can be pleased with their afternoon's work. Kuharovic, as any striker will be coming off the pitch, will be disappointed he hasn't scored a goal, because he should have scored a goal. Some of his link-up play's been good at times, but his movement's been impressive. His willingness to work for the team's been impressive. Hoylett as well, he's been a little bit more quiet than he has been in recent weeks, but picks up good positions, links the play well, and again, a decent afternoon. But whilst it's still sitting at 1-0, I don't think David Gray will be too comfortable.
Josh Campbell is the other player coming on, appearance number 140 for Hibs. Comes on for Junior Hoylett. And Bowie immediately will partner Boyle. Just in behind them will be Josh Campbell.
If I'm Bowie as well and I'm Campbell and I'm coming off the bench, I'm looking at Hoylett and Kuharovic performances today and going, not done badly, but if I can make an impact in this last half an hour, I'm starting next week.
Long ball over the halfway line. Bushiri wins the header. McGee has it, turns the ball back onto Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy all the way back to his goalkeeper, Carson. Carson sends it out wide. Manny Samuels, better control that time, pushes the ball forward. And no way through. Anyway, who's gone out to that left-hand side. Seb Palmer-Houlden is on the right for Dundee. And now it comes Adiwumi, tries to ride the challenge of Miller. Forward went the ball, but so too did Triantis to go back and gather it. And back to Jordan Smith. Smith sends the ball forward. Almost the first touch for Campbell can't quite get on the end of it. Cadden hooks it forward. That should take a bounce. Shaughnessy wants his goalkeeper to come. He's headed it over his goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper has to see the ball almost behind, and he decides not to give away the goal kick, but pushes the ball out of play. The referee is saying it did actually go behind. Shaughnessy and his goalkeeper look at each other. It was a really difficult situation. Shaughnessy felt he was under pressure and had to play the ball. That could have ended badly.
Yeah, it is a difficult one to pinpoint exactly whose fault the mistake was, but I would be looking for Carson just to come out there, get it headed out of play. If he needs to wipe out Shaughnessy, he needs to wipe out Shaughnessy. That's what has to happen.
Gibbs will a corner, third of the second half, leading by 1-0. Martin Boyle goes across to take it. Boyle, arm in the air, then steps forward, hooks the ball to the back. Good header away. Shaughnessy once more. Chris Cadden's outside the box. He'll gather up against Finlay Robertson. Played out wide onto Lewis Miller. Miller's got the chance to drive inside the box. Cuts inside Robertson again. It's Shaughnessy with the block. Andy Whitney brings the ball away and does get away. Dylan Levitt takes him down. It's a yellow card. A little bit cynical from Dylan Levitt. There was cover.
Yeah, there was cover. Yellow card's quite correct. Again, it's pretty much identical to the one Shaughnessy had in the first half, where he avoided the booking. But I was Martin Boyle and the guys in the box, Josh Campbell, that's twice Lewis Miller's tried to cut inside and shoot when really he should be floating the ball into the box. He's defended really well all day, but decision making in that final third could have led to more opportunities.
Lewis Miller does have a goal against Dundee, scored last season. 5 minutes later got himself sent off, although Hibs did go out to win by 2-1 on that occasion. Dundee trailing by 1-0. Haven't given up hope here. It's a big afternoon, not only for Hibs as three teams locked on 50 points, but you look at the bottom half of that table. St Johnstone 29, Dundee 34, Ross County and Kilmarnock both on 35. Dundee would...
Squeaky bum time, I think it's called, Paul.
It's incredible. I must admit, I love the top six, bottom six.
I've been a part of a few relegation scraps in my time. It's never comfortable.
Yeah, it's never fun for those necessarily playing. 67 minutes gone. Shaughnessy with the long throw. Bushiri with a simple header away. Silla waits for it. Ducks down, plays the ball onto Finlay Robertson. Robertson on the right-hand side, back to Shaughnessy. Hibs everybody back behind the ball. Silla, ball into the middle. Bushiri won the header away. Breaks outside the box onto Robertson, trying to find Simon Murray, former Hibs player. It's just a one chance this afternoon. Hibs launch it long. Silla will have to use his goalkeeper and hooks it back to him. And it's gathered and played away by Trevor Carson over the halfway line. Lewis Miller controls it on his thigh, then decides to take a rumble forward. Plays the ball out wide onto Jordan Abita. Abita out by the touchline, midway inside his opponent's half. Miller's made the overlap. Miller by the byline, cuts the ball back. Chance, brilliant goal! Oh, tremendous football from Hibernian. What a finish! Nectar Triantis swept that into the back of the net. Carson with no chance. Brilliant football. Hibs 2, Dundee 0.
Yeah, I'm just watching down below. Tony Docherty is not happy. It comes from Adewumi and Seb Palmer-Holden's reluctance to actually show for the ball and come and take it. No pressure on Miller whatsoever. He drives forward, plays the ball to Abita, plays it down the line, and this time he does cross it. He does get his head up, exactly what he should have done previously, and he's bowing, sweeps the ball into the net. Fantastic finish with the left foot. And Hibs, you have to say, on the balance of play, deservedly 2-0 up.
Well, it was terrific football all the way. Just a wonderful finish. And it was just such a build-up. I mean, he's done it all afternoon, Miller. Played the ball back and brilliantly finished into the back of the net for Kieran Bowie. What a finish, what an afternoon. And Dundee, well, you can't see them coming back from this.
No, I can't. I can't at all. I think Hibs, they look composed, they look good. It's not like they haven't been in this position numerous times over the last 17 weeks when they've not lost a game, so they'll be able to deal with it, I'm sure, and do well. But I just think Adewumi and Seb Palmer-Holden, they've got to put some form of pressure on Miller there. He literally takes the ball, runs 30-40 yards without so much. There's a bit of contact.
Ethan Ingram is on, Jordan McGee is off. So, Bushiri and Bowie, the goal scorers for Hibs this afternoon. And it really was a terrific finish. And you just wonder Hibs are going to push on here and look for another few goals. Goal difference can't come into this at the end of the season. Hibs currently looking to move on to 53 points. Fouling Jordan Abita that time, and Joe Shaughnessy just goes down.
I said as well, when Bowie and Campbell come on, they'll feel there's an opportunity now to put a marker down for the next game in a couple of weeks, to say to David Gray, look, I should be starting the game. I believe Kieran Bowie now will probably start ahead of Kurevich. Time will tell on that one, but that is the method you want to get within your squad. You know, groups of players that are coming on off the bench and contributing, and have got the bit between their teeth.
Fourth goal of the season for Kieran Bowie. Took it well, not been on the pitch overly long. It's satisfying as a manager as well when you make a change like that and the opportunity comes and you put on, scores. Here's the chance for Shaughnessy. He was under pressure. I think Bowie caught him in the face. But Shaughnessy up very quickly, got the apology, and Hibs start to come again. Drop down. Here's Iredale. Iredale looks ahead, coming down that left-hand side. Ball into the middle. Clark Robertson scoots off him, goes high in there. He tries to close him down. I thought Campbell was taken down by Seb Palmer, holding at the edge of the area. Chris Graham, the referee, doesn't give anything. And as Hibs come forward again, it's a free kick.
It's a free kick all day long. No attempt to play the ball. Jumps directly into Josh Campbell's back. Yeah, it's a foul. Don't know why the ref hasn't given it.
Referee just holding things up. There's another change coming. There is, from a Hibs perspective. Handed to the fourth official. The Hibs players look over their shoulder. Kind of game, you're 2-0 up, you're playing well. You don't really want to come off, but interesting to see what the board will hold up. David Gray just saying we'll hold off for a moment.
Imagine it'll be Martin Boyle if it's Dwight Gale that's coming on, unless he's going to shuffle the pack.
Hibs now trying to gather the midfield. Somehow Josh Mulligan rescues that, still looking down to have a look, see what the options are. Here's the chance. The ball come in from the Dundee substitute. Ethan Ingram bounces up into Jordan Smith. Yeah, I think there's a double change coming here, Rory.
Yeah, Boyle, I think you mentioned, he's set to break a record if he can nab a goal, so he'll be keen to stay on to do that, but I can't really think of anyone else who's going to take off at this point. You'd imagine Levitt, having just been dropped, would be the one to give way for Mariah Welsh, and Dwight Gale for Boyle, but we'll see.
So here come the changes. You're spot on. It is Dylan Levitt, the Hibs player booked. Will come off. And Mariah Welsh will come on. Dylan Levitt leaves to good applause. And Dwight Gale will be the other substitute. And Martin Boyle winds his way across. So it's not to be 5 in a row for Martin Boyle. Hibs make the changes. Martin Boyle will look overly happy coming off. He'll be happy Cider, even by 2-0. Gets a pat on the back from Joe Shaughnessy. There'll be a handshake with Dwight Gale and a handshake for the boss as well.
You don't mind that as a manager. You know, there's a way to be disappointed, and I think that's fine that he shows a bit of frustration that he's coming off. I think he'd be naturally disappointed in his position as a striker if you've not scored a goal, and you know in the last 10-15 minutes Dundee need to open up. There's going to be opportunities. So yeah, I think he's done it in a healthy way though.
Yeah, you can do it without being overly disrespectful.
Yeah, it was disappointment, I think, was the overriding, which is understandable.
Opportunity for Dundee to get a throw down by the corner flag on the right hand side, trailing by 2-0 earlier on to the Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2. The stool goes flying. I'm quite sure there was any need to quite push the stool that far away from the man throwing it in, but he decided, Ethan Ingram, that was in his way. In it goes, and headed away by Rocky Bushiri, gathered by Josh Mulligan. Mulligan sets his way forward, ball on the angle. It's going to be a little bit longer. It'll come outside the box to Simon Murray. Simon Murray, Dundee's best hope, you would suspect, to get a goal back. Pulls the ball back, headed high in the air. Trentis back again. It comes in from Ethan Ingram. And Hibs gather at the edge of their own box and go long. Goes over the head of Sanders. Josh Campbell has got the run, but Silla is in behind him. Silla moves across, blocks it across against Campbell, then it hits himself. That goes behind, and it is going to be a goal kick. But Dundee again living dangerously, but I guess really they have to.
Yeah, maybe not back in your own box, but Mo Salah does well in the end to shepherd the ball out of play and get the goal kicked. But yeah, they're gonna have to try and score very, very soon, Dundee. And you have to say the way Hibs are playing and moving the ball could create more problems than answers for them.
Trevor Carson gets ready to send the ball forward. Hibs failed to score in that first home game against Celtic. Scored in all since. And trying to move forward. And they have it through Bowie. Bowie was taken down by Ingram, just bumped into him. They've always gone out of play. There's a clear foul on Kieran Bowie, and Bowie gets himself up. And he's up. And they'll just allow Jordan Obita to take the free kick.
Yeah, it was a foul, but I mean it was nowhere near as bad as the bump that Josh Campbell took not so long ago when the foul wasn't given. Don't be too hard on the referee. He's done well. He's had a good game. There's been no moments of contention or anything like that, but that one did baffle me.
He's trying to keep the game going. Jordan Obita launches it long into the area. It goes, drops down. Miller was chasing after it. He'll leave it for Cadden. Cadden will gather. This Miller wants it. Cadden on that far side. Adewumne right in front of him. Miller takes it, trying to go past him, hits it off. Adewumne, it goes out of play. It's going to be a throw to Hibs, who lead by 2-0. Bushiri and Bowie on song and on the score sheet for Hibs today. This Miller drops the ball down with a little bit of backspin, grabs it again, leans against the advertising boards and get ready to throw the ball in. Hibs have won 7 of the last 15 Scottish Premiership meetings between these sides. On course to make that 8 out of 16. Dundee just won 2 matches. It's not been a good fixture for them. Ball gets thrown in, came off Clark Robertson, comes outside the box. Dwight Gale wins it. Little shimmies to the side to Obita with the ball. Obita pulls the ball back, gets it on to Triantis. Triantis takes a touch, sends it down up to the edge of the box, onto Bowie. Bowie with a turn back inside. Dwight Gale has it. Dwight Gale with a chance. Brilliant finish. Dwight Gale picks out the corner. Trevor Carson sprawled on the turf. The ball ends up the far corner of the net. What a performance from Hibs this afternoon. Hibs 3, Dundee 0. Dwight Gale the goal scorer.
Yeah, fantastic. He starts to move Dwight Gale by nicking the ball back when I didn't think he was favourite, and that kind of sums up Dundee's day. Far too passive, and they were throughout this Hibs move as well. And as soon as it goes back to Dwight Gale, you just know the killer instinct he's got. As soon as he opens his body up with the instep, he's going to find that far corner. That's exactly what he does. A good goal from Hibs' point of view, but Dundee's just standing watching him passing the ball around them. Need to do better, Dundee, but Hibs have been great.
Well, the home fans on their feet, they're enjoying what they're seeing, and Hibs will equal a record going all the way back to 1948, 17 league matches unbeaten. And Dwight Gale, it was a perfect finish, low into the corner. And I'll tell you what, Rory, they're in the mood for more as well.
They are. I think that's both substitutes have scored within a couple of minutes of coming on. I think you said before, it must be a good feeling as a manager when that happens. Well, everything he's touching is turning to gold at the moment. David Gray.
Nicky Cadden preparing to come on. And it doesn't happen too often. He's coming home for his brother, who had the captain's armband temporarily with Martin Boyle going off. That's been handed to Dwight Gale. Chris Cadden will get a near standing ovation from the Hibs fans. Hand slaps from the Hibs players. It's less coming off more like a victory tour from Chris Cadden, but he's played well.
Oh, he's been excellent. First half especially. Maybe he just caught our eye because he was playing right down below us, but he's been fantastic all afternoon. He really has.
And brother for brother. Cadden for Cadden. Hibs leading by 3-0, and they're having a funny afternoon. And Charlie Riley's going to come on, and Adewumne makes his way off. So young Charlie Riley, 6th appearance off the bench this season for him, and he'll trot on.
Interesting to hear what Tony Docherty says after the game. I think they've been a little bit soft today, Dundee. As I say, they've not been aggressive enough, and going and pressing the ball, and I just think that third goal, whilst it is a good goal from Hibs' point of view, I'll say it again, far too passive from Dundee, just standing off them, not wanting to stick your leg in. Mo Salah was guilty of it there, to be fair. He's been one of Dundee's better performances today, but felt like he could have impacted Dwight Gale and not made it as easy for him. So yeah, disappointed, Tony Docherty, so interested to hear how he sums the game up.
Hibs 3, Dundee 0. Dundee currently on 34 points and have been minus 20 in terms of goals. That would be 1 point behind Kilmarnock, who are on minus 20. Ross County 35 points, minus 23. St Johnstone currently 29 points, minus 25. Hibs would move on to 53 points. Miller with the interception. Back to Finlay Robertson. Robertson up at the edge of the area, tries to get it onto Charlie Riley. Lewis Miller is in there, makes the challenge, just manages to keep the ball in from going for a corner, so he has to concede the throw out on that far side. Here's Samuels. Samuels takes a touch, turn, gets it wide down that far side, gets past Nathan Mariah Welsh, low ball into the box with his hands behind his back. Lewis Miller just knocks the ball away. Dwight Gale somehow manages to win that and gets it into Josh Campbell. Campbell lays the ball off, but he's got the opportunity to race over the halfway line. He's attacking Clark Robertson, still going. Campbell's made the run on the outside. Robertson just got a touch on that ball and no more. Bowie goes back, wins it from Silla, loses out on that far side. Campbell trying to go in there. Samuels did well, shifted the ball, got it clear, but Mulligan's under pressure. And Hibs certainly trying to press Dundee as they search for a fourth goal here at Easter Road this afternoon. Hibs 3, Dundee 0. Here come Dundee. Samuel, a little flick inside. Samuels did well on that occasion. There's Ethan Ingram. Ingram trying to go on the outside of Jordan Abita. Abita just standing with him, and Ingram pulls the ball back to Joe Shaughnessy. Dwight Gale closes him down, wins the ball, knocks the ball back onto Triantis. Triantis heads, flicks it forward, and that's going back to the goalkeeper. It's not relenting in their pressure.
They're not in that last attack there. Kieran Bowie, he just held on to the ball for a little bit too long. He had options, he should have chosen one of them. By the time Campbell got round him to try and make another option for him, the defender had managed to nick the ball away from him.
Hibs have gathered and then given the ball away, so Josh Mulligan has it inside his opponent's half. Out on that far side it goes. Lovely ball round onto Samuels. Samuels whips the ball in. Jordan Smith comes and gathers, clutches the ball for his pink-looking jersey, and then looks to get things moving. Relatively comfortable afternoon. 8 clean sheets in 23 matches. So back-to-back clean sheets against St Johnstone and Rangers. This could be 3 in a row. He takes a little bounce of the ball, not in any great hurry. And Dundee, well, their troubles have continued this afternoon. Got that good win against St Mirren, but can't follow it up. An opportunity for Campbell, wins it ahead of Silla, long from the goalkeeper. Bowie plays the ball out wide. Here's the chance for Abita outside the box. Abita into the middle, headed behind by Ian Ingram, and Hibs have a corner. Hibs continue to search for goals.
Yeah, and the reason for that is kind of what I've touched on already, is, you know, you make the subs come on, they know they need to be at it, so they've no choice but to go on and make an impact and make a difference, and it's difficult to do that when the team's already 2 and 3 up, but there's been no relenting from any individual out there today in a green jersey.
Here's Nicky Cadden. Cadden looks ahead, drills it in, easily turned away by Dundee. Riley looking for it, tries to win it, but he's lost out to Abita. Abita pushes the ball out wide onto Nicky Cadden, been told to where to play it, but he decides to go into the middle, and the header from Bowie is brilliant. Well, Dwight Gale wanted it down the channel. Cadden said no chance, played it into the middle, and a diving header from Kieran Bowie, low into the corner of the net. Hibs 4, Dundee 0.
Wow, what a ball that is. Fantastic from the substitute Cadden. Puts it right on a plate for Kieran Bowie, who heads into the back of the net. It looked quite central, the header, to me. I don't know if Trevor Carson can maybe do slightly better, but again, far too passive, far too soft from a Dundee point of view. Cadden's got time to take a touch, lift his head, pick out his man, and Bowie's got all the room in the world just to head it into the back of the net. Hibs deservedly 4-0 up.
Well, 4-0 wins don't come along all that often, but I tell you what, Hibs are enjoying this afternoon. They're steamrolling Dundee at the moment. These matches have been usually pretty close over the years. I think the last time Hibs hit 4 against Dundee was in the League Cup back in November 2020. Malin, Nisbet, Gullen and Hallberg were the scorers on that occasion. But they've hit 4 today without reply, emphatically in third, and Rory Lloyd doing a goal difference. No harm will be plus 13 as the ball gets played, and that's not going to be won on that occasion by Robertson. I mean, you look at Aberdeen, I think they're -4, Dundee United +1. It's as good as an extra point at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been emphatic, nothing short of emphatic, and Hibs will really fancy their chances going into their last 5 fixtures after the split. Showing they're capable of beating Celtic here. Celtic away is a whole different ball game, I would suggest, but capable of going to Rangers and winning. They were comfortable last week, thoroughly deserved to win the match. So yeah, I mean, David Gray will have his eyes set on that third place. He won't be expecting anything less at this point.
This is Hibs' 17th home game of the season, so you suspect their split will be 2 home, 3 away. They might have to go to Paisley again. Here comes Josh Campbell. Hibs seeking more goals. Campbell interchanged with Gale. Back on to Campbell. Campbell almost away from his man. Sid Palmer-Hoden played back to Dwight Gale into the middle. It goes. It's hooked away. Almost in by Nicky Cadden. And somehow he's denied. And Dundee get the ball away. Dundee looking under severe pressure again.
Dwight Gale's convinced that was a handball. He's screaming for it. But look, I know I'm repeating myself, I sound like a broken record, but the ease in which Josh Campbell is able just to pop 1-2 around the Dundee players is quite incredible. And, you know, I'm waiting for the chance of we want 5.
Well, Hibs scoring 4 goals in the league for the first time this season. 5 would be something else. Here's the opportunity to swing the ball in for Dundee. Goalkeeper comes and gathers, and Jordan Smith, who's sometimes accused of staying on his line too much, decided that was going to be his, and he comes and gathers very calmly indeed. And Dundee, well, they're on the wrong end of a scoreline. The other thing is, you know, you've got that break for the Scottish Cup. You're going to have to live with this result for a little while.
Yeah, it's never easy. You want to get straight back out there after a defeat and try and turn things round, but it'll give Tony Docherty time on the grass, and they badly need it after today, I have to say, because, you know, the cohesion in the team just hasn't looked right since the first minute. They've had little spells here and there, 5-10 minutes at the most in both halves, where they've caused Hibs a few problems, but overall they've not laid a glove on Hibs. Hibs have been far, far superior to Dundee today.
Well, Rangers took 4 off of Dundee just a couple of weeks ago, but Dundee did lead in that one by 3-1. Of course, they were thumped 6-0 at home from Hearts. That's their heaviest defeat of the season in the league at home, then followed by a thumping 6-0 by Celtic away. So they've come through troubled times before, but the travails continue on their travels today. And there's the opportunity for Dundee, who want to throw level with the penalty box. Throw the ball in. Dundee trailing by 4-0. Hibs are in the mood for more. Barry gets his jersey pulled back, and Ethan Ingram should go in the book for that.
He should, yeah, you're right, Paul. And it doesn't matter what stage the game's at, that it's 4-0. You know, it's a bookable offence, and he should go in the book.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for players to get yellow cards for fun, but if you're the referee supervisor, you're looking at that and you'll say to Chris Gale, why didn't you book him for a clear jersey pull on a break?
Yeah, and I do understand, and you know, I don't like seeing bookings being given out just for the sake of it, but you can't pull someone's shirt once they're round you and expect not to be booked.
Jordan Smith gets ready to play the ball away. Remember all the action tonight, you can see it on Sports Scene. Aberdeen and Rangers 4-goal thriller. It's been a 4-goal, different kind of game here at Easter Road. Sid Palmer-Hoden trying to defend as Hibs sent the free kick long. Ball refusing to run out of play, and it's held in by Triantis. Triantis plays it ball forward to Mariah Welsh, and picked up by Ardale. Ardale gets it forward. Mariah Welsh a little bit short. Ardale has to scoop the ball in. Almost a wedge type shot forward. Ethan Ingram plays it forward. Silla went down by Dwight Gale. Dwight Gale offers a helping hand to get Silla back to his feet. A minute of normal time to play. And Dundee, well, hadn't been beaten by Hibs this season, but they've been thumped this afternoon. And Hibs continuing to rumble their way forward. Last third in the Scottish Premiership in 2021. Hibs already have got more points than they had at the same stage last season. Now they come forward, Dundee. Again, Triantis did well, wins the block. Forward it comes onto Campbell. Campbell trying to sit up for Gale, but couldn't get it through. Silla. Dundee gather, seeking consolation. That's all it would be. Dundee trying to come forward, and the shot over the top, and again disappointment. Mulligan moves his way across, and Jordan Smith just yells at his teammates. He wants to make sure he keeps that clean sheet.
Yeah, quite rightly so as well. Why not shoot from Mulligan's point of view? You know, showing a little bit of endeavour in there at times and ran about and worked pretty hard. But like most of the Dundee players, you know, if you're down there and you're toiling, you can't have, you know, 7-8 players in your team performing at 5s and 6s out of 10. You need far more than that. It's not been a good day for Dundee.
4 additional minutes. We have started them now, and David Gray has Hibs third place to start the day, and third is where they will stay with an increased advantage over their rivals Aberdeen and Dundee United. Dundee United in 4th, Aberdeen in 5th. St Mirren have also reached the top 6 this season. There's 3 new teams in the top 6 compared to last season. Hibs, Aberdeen and Dundee United. Here's Mulligan driving for the corner flag. Dundee looking for consolation. It's always worth trying to get another goal. You never know if goal difference will come into it. In the end, ball played forward by Ardale, hits off Finlay Robertson, goes behind. And 1 or 2 Hibs fans heading for the exits, but not too often are the Hibs fans headed for the exits on the back of a 17-game unbeaten league run. You take these times when they're there.
Quite incredible. And I was covering the game at Tannadice when Hibs were 2-1 up with about 5 minutes to play, and they get beat 3-2, and I just did not see them recovering from that, to the point where I thought the pressure on the manager would get, you know, too much for him to survive. But huge credit to the club for backing and believing in him. Huge credit to David Gray and his backroom staff to be able to be resilient enough to turn things around, because they've been phenomenal for the last 17 games.
The sun comes out for the last few minutes. Almost feels right from a Hibs perspective, as Dwight Gale goes down, wins a free kick, gets the opportunity to play this into the box. 90 seconds of the 4 additional minutes have come and gone. Dundee in the last 6 away, 1-3, lost 3, the last away draw, Killie in November. Well, they've been beaten again this afternoon. And Dundee, well, who they play next, we can't tell. We will await the computer to do its job and throw out the final 5 fixtures for the top and bottom halves of the table. Hibs with the opportunity to play the ball in. Long, high free kick. Carson comes, gets the punch, did well, breaks down inside the area. Trientis plays the ball across. Opportunity to flick it in. Mariah Welsh, outrageous little ball into the box. It was knocked away. Tries to come back and get it again, but he can't do so. It's launched long. Simon Murray on that far side up against Jack Ardale. Ardale trying to hold him up. Simon Murray did well. It's out to Riley. Riley back to Samuels down the side. And the ball is out of play. As Miller went to ground, touched the ball, out of play. Dundee have a throw. Got to be thrown in by Dundee, trying to get things moving. Hibs looking to win 3 in the top flight without conceding for the first time since 2018, including a win against Dundee. They beat St Mirren, and they thumped Hamilton here by 6-0 emphatically. They've blanked St Johnstone, Rangers, and now Dundee. Hibs 4, Dundee 0. Bushiri, Barry, Gale and Barry. The goal scoring sequence. Long by Carson. Abita watches it, just trying to see if he can shepherd it out of play. Can't, just didn't have enough on it. He's under pressure from Ethan Ingram, and turns, spins and knocks the ball out of play. Final minute of additional time here at Easter Road. Hibs score 4 in the Scottish Premiership for the first time this season. Score 4 against Dundee for the first time in almost 5 years.
Doesn't flatter them either.
Yep.
I have to say, 4 goals.
Hibs did have a good 5-0 win against Elgin in the League Cup, but this is completely different. Here comes Josh Campbell as Dundee can't make anything of the attack, playing the ball back. Clark Robertson opens it up onto Mary Samuels. Samuels down the side. Riley, Dundee haven't given up, trying to search, trying to see if they can find a goal. Riley into Seb Palmer Holden, sends it across, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, it took a deflection, came off the post and knocked behind by Jack Ardale. That was almost goal accidental.
Yeah, Simon Murray was just waiting to tap the ball into the net, and there's a little intervention with the defender which sees it very nearly go over the line for an own goal.
It's all over at Easter Road. Road. Dundee came hoping to find back-to-back victories against Hibs for the first time since 2002-2003. They didn't find it. They ran into a very slick green and white machine. Bushiri, Bowie, Gale and Bowie, the goal scorers this afternoon. The double for the substitute Kieran Bowie. Dwight Gale's goal was a cracker. Rocky Bushiri got it all started. A deserving 3 points for the side in third place. It's finished at Easter Road. Hibs 4, Dundee 0.